The media discourse around Trump's tariffs is lacking one enormous, uncomfortable piece, which is that he may be making one of the boldest environmental swings of the last century. Totally unwittingly. I'm not defending his intentions. I fully don't think Trump gives one single shit about the environment. I'm not sure he knows what a tree is. He's trying to shift the economy in a way that could potentially be incredibly more sustainable for the planet, but that's not his motivation, and he's doing it in a way without any plan to make this transition easy or survivable for billions of people who are going to be infected by what he's doing. But the reality is that the status quo economy that we had like a week ago was definitely going to kill all of us. It's unsustainable. We're burning through many more times the amount of resources that are contained on this planet Earth than exist. And whatever economic kind of crash that we might be in for is really nothing compared to the economic crash that we're gonna see 10 and 20 and 30 years down the line from the impacts of runaway catastrophic climate change. And the status quo of just continuing the economy that we've been in guarantees not only that economic collapse, but that environmental collapse, hundreds of millions of climate refugees and vast swaths of the planet being completely uninhabitable without like massive amounts of technology to sustain human life at unlivable temperatures. I know, baby, it is very distressing to hear all that. From a global economy that ships the vast majority of consumer goods across entire oceans to one that is more local would reduce fossil fuels enormously. Also, just the economy getting worse and people having less money to overconsume, by and large, generally means fewer fossil fuel emissions. In the economy we had last week in the US, if you needed a pair of socks, most people would go online and buy a pair from Amazon, and some child who's an enslaved child in a textile mill somewhere in Southeast Asia would make those socks, and then they would be put on a boat and they would be shipped across the entire Pacific Ocean using fossil fuels to power that big old boat, and then fossil fuels would be used to unload the cargo and put it in a truck and drive it to your house. And not only was that one pair of socks made, but many, many, many pairs of socks were made. Many, many more than would ever be bought. And those excess socks made of plastic which had to be dug out of the ground as fossil fuels and then refined into plastics in extremely polluting plastics plants. Those excess plastic and acrylic, synthetic cotton acrylic blend maybe socks will now be dumped in landfills in Africa, destroying the land, polluting the environment there, and creating an enormous waste problem for the people and the environment. That's a bad economy. It's unsustainable. It can't keep going. If it keeps going, if we let that economy just keep going, we're all gonna die. For more on that, this book, The Uninhabitable Earth, Life After Warming. But no one in the media is talking about how we need to buy locally, actually. We actually do need to shift towards an economy where as much of our needs are met locally, not shipped across the world using fossil fuels. Again, I'm fully aware that is not Trump's motivation for these tariffs. He wants things to be made in America because America first. And I think these tariffs are more likely to just cause a lot of harm to regular people while providing yet more opportunities for billionaires to scoop up more of our wealth, because there's no intentionality behind embracing a local revolution. There's no discussion of it, even in the most liberal and progressive media. This is what Trump wants, and Trump bad, therefore local economy must be bad. We're not even going to talk about how essential it is to our survival as a species and as a carbon-based life continuing to exist on planet Earth type of thing. I know from experience that this video will get a zillion angry knee-jerk blue MAGA liberals in my comments saying that I'm secretly a Trump supporter all along because I'm even bringing up this angle. But the reality is that any rattling of the status quo is an opportunity to change the status quo. And if we don't talk about the ways in which we need to change the status quo in order to allow life to continue surviving on planet Earth, then we won't change in the right directions. And so anyone who cares about the environment, whether you're a liberal or a progressive or a leftist, should be saying right now, yeah, actually, we need to consume way less, and we need to not be shipping things unnecessarily all over the globe. We need to have more local supply chains in order for life to be continue to exist on planet Earth. And the way Trump's going about making that happen is very harmful and chaotic and unintentional and disturbing. But that is a positive goal for the health of the planet. For a more optimistic lens on how ending our global consumerist culture will positively impact the environment, check out The Day the World Stops Shopping. It's going to be an adjustment when you can't have socks made by child slaves in Southeast Asia shipped to your door in one day for a ridiculously low price. But giving up those kinds of conveniences, like I said, it's coming anyways in 10, in 20, in 30 years, depending on what part of the world you live in and at what time. The cost of rebuilding entire cities destroyed by climate impacts becomes greater than the projected returns on investment in rebuilding those cities. That's when you and everyone in your community becomes a climate refugee, and you'll have fucking nothing. And you'll be at the whims of whatever government orders are still in the relatively more habitable parts of the world at that time. Does that make sense? Fossil fuel consumption in the consumer global economy is going to kill you and literally everything you love dead way, way harder than anything Trump could ever do. Just give it 50 years. Or maybe 20. Again, depends where you live. So TLDR, we should be buying as little as possible, we should be shopping locally, and we should say it. For a somewhat similar take, I really recommend Nathan Schuherk, you might know him as Schizophrenic Reads, his Substack yesterday called Maybe Trump is Making America Great, A Hopeful View of Depression, was a really great banger of a read and kind of unlocked some of these ideas for me. So I recommend joining his Substack and taking a look at that essay. Oh, and my book, Genocide Bad, is coming out April 22nd, and it's already available in some stores. The official release date is April 22nd, but some bookstores got it early because, again, to rush this to press, we use different printers in different countries. And so some people have already gotten their copies, including some bookstores, and they're putting it on sale. And you might have already gotten your copy. You might have to wait till April 22nd. If you got the special edition hardcover, that one is going to be a few weeks after April 22nd because, again, y'all are getting them signed, and I'm not going to sign them in Massachusetts until May 1st. So they'll be shipped out after that, and you'll get them very shortly after that. And all of y'all will get the ebook on release date April 22nd if you pre-ordered the hardcover. You'll find links to pre-order it if you haven't already in all formats in my bio, except audiobook, which you cannot pre-order it for that yet. And so if you want to support the book's release, consider pre-ordering in another format, and the audiobook will be coming later. Y'all, I've been doing fundraiser giveaways of early copies of this book in order to fundraise for these two campaigns right here of kids in Gaza who need urgent support. They both have disabilities, diabetes, and a shattered leg. But now that the book's already out there, you're probably gonna get your copy before I can complete another giveaway. I'm not sure what to give away to keep doing fundraisers. So let me know in the comments, should I keep giving away personalized copies of Genocide Bad? Should I go back to giving away hardcovers of The Free People's Village? I still have a box of signed, first editions that I can give away. And those first editions aren't available in stores anymore. So let me know what I can give away, what y'all want from me to continue encouraging donations, because the siege on Gaza just entered its second month and these families urgently need our support. But in the meantime, can y'all just keep donating to them and make sure you've pre-ordered all the copies of Genocide Bad that you want. To everyone except the blue MAGA liberals in my comments who are going to completely misinterpret everything I just said and say that I'm a secret Trump supporter. To all of you who listened and got it, I love you. You're amazing. You're my mashbucha.